professional orchestra will be paid for entirely by donations from the people of Suffolk for the people of Suffolk. They'll need to raise around £250,000 though to keep them playing for a year. Megan Boot went to see them.
These musicians have played in London, Shanghai, and now Bury St Edmunds.
The standard of the players is just phenomenal. I mean, it's absolutely the cream of London players. So we've all come together in Suffolk, so that's absolutely brilliant. There's just a real desire to make a new orchestra work. At the moment, classical music seems to be falling down a little bit. Sponsorship is falling away. People are really struggling to find work as musicians. So it's a great fresh start. So everyone's looking forward to it, I think.
This rehearsal is the first time the Suffolk Philharmonic have come together, and while the music might be sweet, it does come at a price. The concert, plus the education and community projects associated with it, have cost around £20,000.
Ticket sales, donations, grants and support from local businesses have made it all possible. From Kesgrave to Rattlesden, Ipswich to Wickham Market, 8 schools have got involved. And what's more, with 11 teenagers getting a chance to join the professionals on stage, the money's making memories, as 14-year-old Ipswich student Kerry's been finding out.
I was really excited because, well, I've heard a lot of professional orchestras and they sound absolutely amazing, and to think you could be a part of one it's great.
700 people turned up to hear the exquisite notes of Vaughan Williams, along with some Elgar, Britten and John Adams.
That was a clip, some of the rehearsal you saw there from the inaugural concert at St Edmundsbury Cathedral just a few weeks ago. And as Stephen and Nick Wilson of the Virtual Zone will both attest, it was a fantastic evening. And very much a declaration of the SPO's intent to showcase the finest international musicians in the land here in Suffolk. The launch concert attracted an audience of almost 700 people and delighted people with some sensational performances, as you will have seen. We subsequently have received more than 250 feedback cards, giving some excellent positive endorsement of the orchestra's work, and we raised more than £20,000 of non-ticket revenue to pay for the launch programme, and that included some grant money from the Arts Council and otherwise. Of course, that comes with various caveats of things that you have to do, but that was a very, very good start. It paid for the launch programme, and by that I mean not just the inaugural concert. It included an education project which reached into no less than 8 schools at this stage, including 2 here in Ipswich. It produced nearly 500 pieces of academic work, much of which was shown in the cloisters of St Edmundsbury Cathedral on the evening. And 11 teenagers, as the clip said, played string instruments alongside the professional musicians, which was a fantastic opportunity for those children. In addition, the Suffolk Philharmonic has also staged a community concert in Rattlesden, at which a professional quartet drawn from the musicians that played at the inaugural concert, led by Richard Malone, who many of you know will have, who led the orchestra at last year's Royal Wedding, and gave a 1-hour programme of music in Rattlesden Pavilion. It was attended by about 90 people, and with a telephone call, perhaps some people who were older or less mobile were basically taken to the pavilion, enjoyed an incredible programme of music, a free lunch, and were delivered back home, all for free. And it's very much that kind of work that the orchestra is trying to undertake. It's not just about the big concerts at St Edmundsbury Cathedral. The objective is very much to take music into every corner of the Suffolk community, and to help people share professional music of the highest standard in all sorts of ways. So we're on our way, but this genre of music does not come cheap. Leslie estimates that it takes about £25,000 to stage a grand concert of that order. Obviously, some of the smaller events much less so, but it doesn't come cheap. So first of all, I would like to say a thank you to those of you who are associated with organisations who've given services in kind to the orchestra so far, particularly Stephen, who's been very generous in giving us space in the magazine and a second platform for me to talk here today, and to Nick Wilson of the Virtual Zone, who's been brilliant in terms of orchestrating the SPO's website. There are sponsor a player schemes, and there are companies who are, rather than a big sponsorship, deciding maybe to sponsor 2 or 3 players throughout the year, and that can be quite attractive for some companies. But we're also looking to obviously identify some headline sponsors for individual concerts and the programme, which will be staging events here in Ipswich as well as in Bury and in other events.
If you don't have a relationship with your customers, you can only really negotiate on one thing, and that's price. And that's not productive, because that's just where you just give away margin in means of overcoming customer resistance. So, in the traditions of marketing and business strategy, I have a 4-box matrix. And it's quite salutary if you classify your customers on 2 axes. One, the strength of the relationship you have with them, and second, the amount of power and influence they have in their organisation. Now, in the top right-hand box, we find the group who've got a lot of power and they love us and we know them well. Now, they're obviously your golden clients, and we have to nurture them. But like all relationships, you can't neglect them. You can't take them for granted. You've got to keep working with them and building them. But they can be very powerful because they're the people who give you your testimonials. And they're the people who can introduce you to other people, both inside and outside their organisation, who could possibly do business with. So they're great. The second group are these group here that are called the support group. They're the ones who like us, but they haven't got a whole lot of power and influence. Now, your sales force can spend an awful lot of time and your resources talking to these people, and then I'm sure you've seen it, they come back and say, well, we're getting really well, but we just didn't get the business. Why is that? The reason is that they haven't got the power and the influence to give you that business. But if you do support them, if you give them information, tools, techniques, advice, you can help them improve their influence within the organisation. You can also get them to introduce you to the people who don't know you so well, but have that power. So they're a great group of people to ask that question, who else should I be talking to in your organisation? Who else is involved in this decision-making process? And using that to best effect. The third group are those people in the bottom right-hand corner, the people who've got lots of power and influence, but we don't have much of a relationship with them, or perhaps they don't even like you. Now that's a really important group that we need to develop. And those people can have an awfully corrosive effect in our organisation if we don't address them properly. Because they're the ones who can stop you getting business, they're the ones who can drive your margin down. Those people are people we need to find out what is the issue, what's going on. It may simply be they don't know who you are. If they don't know who you are, then use the people in the top 2 boxes to introduce you. It may be there's an issue going on, perhaps they've had some false impression of what your business does, perhaps they don't know what you stand for, perhaps they've had a bad experience in the past. So again, those people in those top boxes can help you convince them that actually you are good guys, you are people who can help them, you have a solution to offer them. And over time, and it does take time, you can move them up into that nurture box. The fourth group are the people who've got not a lot of power and influence, and they don't know you, they don't particularly care for you. Now some might say, well, ignore them, what's the point of wasting time on them? I wouldn't say that. I think you really need to watch those people. Because those people can move across into that group that you need to develop if they gain power and influence in their organisation. And really what you want to be doing is moving them up into the support area, or ideally across into that nurture area. And the way you do that is you can't devote a whole lot of resource to them, but you need to devote some to them and help them get access to those pieces of information, those pieces of advice that you're giving to the support group, but at a relatively low cost. So point them in the direction of web resources you might be publishing, or let them have a book or something, but something just so they rub off a little bit of the love that other people might feel for your organisation. Now that's great theory, but where's the practical reality behind all this? And what you have to do with this classification, and by all means what I'm saying, advocating here, is classifying the people in those key organisations, those key companies that you're targeting. You have to critically look at those relationships, and they can be quite frightening when you do, and then use it as a basis for a plan, an action plan. By an action plan, there's people's names attached to it and there's times to it. It may be something as simple as, we know so-and-so is very powerful in that organisation, but they don't know us. Let's get X to introduce us to them. And then take those plans as part of your key account management plan, action them, and most importantly, review them and refresh them.
So I'm here to talk to you this morning about knowledge transfer partnerships, and basically, as they suggest, they're a scheme that helps small and medium enterprises transfer knowledge between a university to their company, and it's actually Europe's most successful knowledge transfer programme. It is part government funded, so SMEs can actually get 60% of the project costs given to them by the Technology Strategy Board, and they can run anywhere between 6 months to 3 years. Actually funded by a number of organisations, including EDA and lots of the research councils, but the main body is the Technology Strategy Board, and it's a three-way partnership between a recently qualified graduate, the university and the actual SME, and it's led by the demand of the small and medium enterprise, and it's about their strategic needs, so it's helping embed knowledge in their organisation that's actually going to help them in the long term, in the future. But the university employs that newly qualified graduate to work in the small and medium enterprise. It takes all the employment liability away from the SME also, so it's a very cost-effective scheme. And I'm talking to you today about a Colchester-based company called Vacuumatic, who are leaders in counting machinery. So although they're highly successful in electromechanical design and embedded software, they felt that recent advances with robotics, for example, and visual processing and machine learning techniques meant that they could actually develop a better system, and so therefore they felt that this route was the best way to exploit some of their capabilities. So the University of Essex was local to the company and has renowned expertise in robotics and photonics, and the academics at the university felt confident that their robotics and artificial intelligence technology had reached a stage where it was actually possible to envisage a solution allowing a traditional industrial technology to be upgraded. However, the problems that the application presented weren't trivial, and it enabled the university to also be at the cutting edge of the development for robotic technology for industrial applications. So the story so far is that they're actually 18 months into a 33-month programme, and the company and the academics have recruited a very academically able associate to project manage the project, as well as making the application of the algorithms needed, which is also the subject of his PhD. He's written some software that's been integrated in their strategy, and he's identified quick wins that are being currently used in the company and upgraded the software of the customer's current machines to improve their performance. And the company, Vacuumatic, has now received their first customer order in the application, which wouldn't have been possible before the KTP.
The idea behind these monthly little references to Business Suffolk showcases is just to give some updates as to what's happened since the previous chat. And what has happened, I'm glad to say, is that Baber District Council and Mid Suffolk District Council are now on board as an official event supporter, which I'm pleased to say. They felt it was a bit of a no-brainer because the venue, Worsted Park, the venue for Business Suffolk Showcase in October, is actually in the borough of Baber, and they just think it's fantastic that there's a major event happening on their doorstep. They're on board. They said it's a bit of a no-brainer that they want to support this event. Quite surprised that so far Suffolk County Council haven't supported, but that may happen in due course. So, posters going up. The event's in just four months and a bit from now. The event does need the support of those companies that have a very serious commitment to the Suffolk business community. The visitors to this event will be targeted in the next few months. At the moment, this poster is actually targeting towards potential sponsors and exhibitors rather than visitors. But just for those that aren't fully aware, everything's referred to in here. In the middle pages, there's a 4-page section that explains a little bit about the event, but literally if one goes to the website, you can do that by clicking into it or through the QR code here straight to the homepage of the website. You'll see that there's several other things that have happened and are ongoing, but the main thing being that the event does need support, it needs sponsors. It can be a great occasion for the Suffolk business community, both for the companies that are there servicing the needs of other companies as exhibitors, sponsors, seminar presenters. There's going to be about 40 seminars conducted over the 2 days. The opportunity for companies to run seminars in these 2 days, it can be a one-hit seminar, just one of the 2 days, or companies taking the full opportunity of presenting the same seminar on each of the 2 days. And if you look at my website, you'll see that anyone that does that, the same seminar to 2 sets of different delegates, obviously, over the 2 days, if they run that seminar, they get another seminar free, a bonus, which my advice would be that they actually change the topic slightly for that bonus seminar, and they can use that either on day 1 or day 2. There's 3 costs involved actually to be seminar presenters. One is aimed at exhibitors, and they pay a certain amount of money for 1 seminar. But to put it into context, to sponsor a Ipswich connected business networking breakfast meeting, to be a sponsor here, is £400. And with that, you get 7.5 minutes on the stage. To sponsor a seminar at Business Suffolk Showcase for an exhibiting company who've already paid money to be an exhibitor is £350 for 1 day. But what they get for that is 30 minutes, as against 7.5. That's a 20-minute presentation, plus one would expect a 10-minute Q&A from the delegates attending. And likewise, if they run it over 2 days, it's 2 times 350, plus they get the bonus seminar as well, at no extra cost. For a sponsor company who are putting substantial sums of money into the event, they're a sponsor, they're an exhibitor, their seminar price is slightly cheaper because of the amount of money that they're putting into the show as a sponsor. But what they get in return as a sponsor is massive. Looking at the website, it's a tremendous package that I've put together for those companies that want to be seen to be part of something that's brand new for the Suffolk business community, and to be there leading that push towards changing, in some people's eyes, changing the way in which Suffolk can showcase itself as a business area. So their sponsor price will be $250 as against $350, and vice, likewise, if they run it over 2 days, it's twice that amount of money, plus they have one free of charge. The third level of sponsoring a seminar is for those that are not actually part of the exhibition at all. They don't want to be exhibitors, but they want to be involved in the event, sponsoring a seminar. They can do that, but their price will be £500 to have that 30-minute presentation. And likewise, they can run over 2 days and they get a bonus seminar free of charge. New Anglia LEP are coming as a guest presenter. There's quite a few organisations at the very top end of what's happening in the Suffolk business community, or in the case of New Anglia LEP in East Anglia. And they're coming to give a 2-day guest presenter slot, which will be just one of about 6-7 key guest presenter opportunities that will be there. That's not seminar. This is actually live on the floor, not upstairs in those rooms that you see in the picture, but live at the event in the atrium where all the sponsors and exhibitors will be based as well. If there is an interest in exploring further what can be done for your organisation with this event, whether it's a seminar, whether it's an exhibitor, or maybe even sponsor, I'm all ears. I'm here to strike whatever needs to be done to make things right for you. Cost-wise, as I've always done in business, I always give more than one would expect.